it's been a while. It has been a very long time since I've gotten to work on this quote journal. So thank you and welcome back. My name is Claudia. This is White Sugar Designs, and today I'm going to be working on this journal, which I want to finish because I only have 3 pages left and I want to be a finisher. You might have seen a few of these pages here on my YouTube channel, how I created them. This was part of my quote collection 2 years ago. And so what happened was I ended up giving away the other half of the year, which means another journal. So I had 2 for the entire year, and the other one I gave away as a giveaway. And I've become good friends with the person who won that one. And for some reason, because life, I did not get to finish this one. And so here is one empty page that I have. I did this background a while back, and I don't know, I guess at that point I wasn't feeling it after the fact but now I've come back to it because I'm kind of liking it. So I'm going to be working, I'm going to be working in this journal, but not necessarily on this page because I've already have an idea in mind for what I want to do, and this background doesn't work. But I will be filming what I'm going to work on this one, but I just wanted to start the video with a colorful page. And again, you might have seen a few of these that I have posted. This was a super cool. For a while, I was into a 3D pop-up phase there, where all I wanted to do was work on pop-ups in 3Ds. And so here are 2 examples. You might again have seen a couple of these videos, and I am down to that page right here, the center. And this one, which I had started and then something got me distracted. And then I have one more here at the end, and this is the page that I'm going to be working on today. We're going to start with a blank page, and then as I get inspiration on what I want to do for this one, as well as for this one here, where is it? I will be again video recording these as well and be sharing with you. So thank you so much for stopping by. Let's go into the project. I will be doing a voiceover after this, but I just kind of wanted to give you a very quick intro to what I'm going to be working on today. So let's get to work. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start, which is funny, I'm going to start by adding some soft pastels to the background to create, just a little bit of texture, which is the funny part is that it's exactly kind of the same technique I had on the middle page when I first started the video and I showed it to you. So something must have stuck in my head and I ended up doing kind of the same thing. It's just a little softer. These pastels are a delight to work with. If you're concerned that they might, because they're soft pastels, that kind of chalky feeling, and you feel like it's going to kind of come off of your page, you can add a sealant over them before you get going with your project. But I was not worried about that, so I just kind of left it as they are. My color combination, I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's that chartreuse green, a little bit of that mustard yellow, and of course it's a blue, but it kind of gives it a turquoisey color tint to it when you mix the colors. I had pre-cut these 2 wreaths from my Cricut, or Cricut. I always say Cricut. Just because I wanted to kind of frame the quote in the center of them. I also knew that I wanted to do, obviously I wanted to do mixed media, so I wanted to use stencils. These stencils are by the Crafters Workshop, and those yummy I'm gonna call them crayons, but they're Distress Crayons by Tim Holtz. And they are very soft and creamy, so you only need a little bit. So I added them to one of those foamy applicators and then just rubbed it onto the page. And again, this fuchsia purplish color is beautiful. I should have bought more. I bought these individually. I'm sure they come in a pack. I think I'm gonna go on the hunt and see if I can find more because I truly like them. So kind of keeping with that same green tones and the turquoise, I picked this other green, but this time I moved the stencil so I was covering that fuchsia color, so that it could have like that harlequin pattern. And the stencil has obviously a grungy feel to them, so some of those little diamond shapes are not 100% perfect. They're kind of, if you look close to the stencil, so some of them are very kind of broken apart, and I was trying to avoid those specific pieces. On the left, the turquoise, not turquoise, the fuchsia color was too straight, so I went down a little bit farther. The same thing here on the right hand side. I went up farther up to kind of give it a more, you know, free flow uh, pattern rather than a straight line. So when you're working with things like this, always kind of look at it and see what your eye tells you. Again, in my case, it just felt too symmetrical, so I wanted to make it uneven by kind of going off of the page and going up a little bit higher on the right and a little bit lower on the left. I wanted to add this font type as part of the background, and I was using an ink, a little ink pad, a cat eye, I think we call those, and it just came out too strong. So I went back, and before it completely dry, I wanted to lift some of the ink off, but it still left a lot. I knew I had this other stamp with that same print look that I was looking for, and then I just repeated that same pattern, but with the stamps, and it gave me that soft texture that I was looking for. So this was a much better choice than the stencil itself. So of course, in my head, I'm like, oh, how am I gonna cover that? So as I was working on this, I was already starting to think, okay, luckily I only did it on a small area. I should have checked it before I went even this far, but you'll see I end up correcting it because, again, sometimes we have ideas in our heads and they don't come as the way we thought they were. So there's always a way to go around it. It's so funny how, you know, you have pieces of, you know, your ephemera or paper, and everything just somehow magically coordinates. And so these beautiful butterflies, these are from a 12 by 12 paper by Crate Paper and Maggie Designs. And Maggie Holmes, I'm sorry, Maggie Holmes Designs. And so I fussy cut those because, again, that blue goes with the turquoise. There's a little bit of pink and of course some green. So I decided to go look through my Maggie Holmes florals that I have, and I have them organized in these little clear containers. And if you're looking for a video on how to organize your ephemera, I do have a video on how I organize all my ephemera using this huge large case that holds like 19 or 16 of these little smaller containers. So as I was going through all of the florals, I decided to, because I had used that yellowy mustard, it kind of doesn't show well here on the page, but it's there. So these beautiful yellow florals work perfect. So, but the ones I already had were too big. So I, again, went through my 12 by 12 papers, found the smaller one, and cut the one that that you see on the upper right corner. And then I was just trying to kind of, you know, find a position for all the little things that I wanted to add. And I wanted to add more florals. Again, this was kind of a wreath, so I kept looking for leaves and another floral that I wanted to add on the lower left corner. So at this point, I decide on this pink one. And of course, you know, being a Libra, I always change my mind, and that's okay. So at this point, I'm still going with the pink and the yellow. And then I start by adding my wreaths to the page, a little bit offset. I wanted to make sure I had enough space where I was going to write kind of a long quote. So I start adding those with my handy dandy blue pen, blue glue pen. That's a tongue twister there. And so I start adding it, but I want to make sure that I can close my book. So as I'm gluing it before the glue is 100% stuck, I start, you know, making sure that nothing's going to fold weird when it's drying. And these two little leaves here are kind of the crack of the book, and so I just trim a tiny little bit of the top and then re-glue them, and then that's how I fix that problem. It's looking beautiful. I'm in love with that green. It's not the chartreuse green, but it's more of a, I don't know what to call that green that's next to the fuchsia purplish color. I'm normally not a purple girl, but that color, I think it's more on the pink side. So there I start adding my florals, and I added the 3D puffy double-sided foam tape to the large yellow flower. And as always, I don't think I ever glue a butterfly straight down. I always leave the wings to pop up. So at this point, I'm still going with this pink floral or this flower. But something is just telling me, and it's so funny. I find that interesting that your eye, you know, your eye is speaking to you and your mind is speaking to you, and it's telling me at this point, there's something that I don't like. I really don't like how this yellow and pink, they just don't go together. There's not a lot of pink on the page, except on the little dots on the butterflies. There's those are pink. And you know, still going, but as you see me working here, my brain is just going and thinking, nope, I don't like it. So there it is. I take it off. Sometimes you have to see things to know what you like and what you don't like, because again, you have an idea. Whenever you work on with colors, trust your gut, and also stick with the colors that you've originally picked. So in this case, because I picked those greens and turquoise and blues, and then of course the different pop of color, which is that fuchsia purplish color, I figure I need to kind of stick with it. So it has to stay, don't, you know, I'm trying to add contrast, but not too weird. So I find these yellow florals that match the one on top. This is one of those books that I found at Tuesday morning, and I bought 3 of them because you know how it is. Things sell out and you can't find them anymore, and they were $6 each, and I know these are gonna last me forever. So I also want to pop these guys up, but because they're stickers, after I add the foam dot, I use baby powder to get rid of the other adhesive around the florals, because if once I close the book, they would the leaves would stick to the page and probably look weird. So then I go back to the book and found more leaves, because more leaves and more florals is always a good thing. And again, I'm like, okay, well, I still need a little bit of color, so I add this other one. But you'll see that although it's there and it is pink, it is a different shade of pink as the one I had before. And because it's so small, it doesn't pop up too much, and it doesn't distract me. So at this point, I knew I wanted to add a heart. I don't know why. I guess we're always attracted to the same things: polka dots, stripes, florals, hearts, butterflies, you know. So I always go for the same. And then, of course, I could not find one that matched, and I had this other page that I also found at Tuesday morning. here's a little thing I do. If I ever travel and I go somewhere else, whether it's another town, another state, if I can convince my husband to stop by a Tuesday morning, I always stop. And I think this guy might have come from a different. I just recently went to Florida, and we went to a Tuesday morning there, and I scored big time. Oh my gosh, I found so many things there, and I was lucky enough to fit everything on my carry-on. And so I went through that page and found the heart, put it up on the upper or middle part of the left page, and then a little tiny bird on the lower. Oops, sorry, I always do this. Right page is the heart and left page is the bird. And then I found this little word phrase. It's chipboard that's really thick, so I kind of peel a few layers off to make it a little bit thinner, and then add it there. Just to add, because the heart had some words on it, I didn't want to put it next to a heart, so I kind of put them opposite ends of each other. So now I am on the hunt for something that matches that purplish color, because I need to bring a little bit more of it into the page, because everything else is, you know, that yellows and blues. So I could not find any of those enamel dots that match, but of course, luckily, I had this sequence. So that solved that problem. I added and sprinkled a few of those here and there. With these types of embellishments, less is more. Everything works and looks better on threes. So that was the theory behind where and how many I ended up adding to the page, and that just did the trick. I'm going to be coming to an end here, you guys. I wanted to say thank you so much for stopping by. I found several more videos that I had previously recorded that I never uploaded, so I'm excited about that. I will be adding more of those, more videos here pretty soon. I will have photos and links to most of the products that I have here. And that's it. So thank you so much. There is something I will be revealing as I get working on this journal, the last 2 pages, so stay tuned for that. The last thing I did, I added the quote itself. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of a long one, but I will have photos at the end so you can stop by and read it more carefully. So thanks again so much for watching. No, don't forget to take time and make time to get crafty, because it is good for the heart and good for the soul. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.